Welcome to Beeston. This is John Charles Centre of Sport. Little pool here, and then we've got the track there. And I'm just here at 7 o'clock this morning for a swim, which is a VO2 swim. Should be a hard swim. And I'm always one of the first here, along with Sam Dickinson, right keen beans. And yeah, it'll be about 90 minutes, I think. So. Usually we'd swim 50 metre, which I love, and it's the only pool in Leeds that's 50 metre pool. But yeah, since COVID I've not swum 50 metres, and I don't think we will for a long time, because it's 25 metre width. They're able to get like 3 pools in, so we've got the public, the far side, and then we have our own middle section. And yeah, so I mean it's better than nothing, but I prefer 50 metre pool. And then, yeah, when we're getting changed, we're just segregated a bit to keep us all apart. And we have our own toilets upstairs, so I hate swimming later than 7 o'clock. I've never ever swim in the afternoon, forget that. So we swim the same time every morning, Monday to Friday.
Why are you in the morning?
I don't know, I just always have swim in the morning. I like to get it done and out of the way. I don't enjoy it that much, so I wouldn't look forward to it if I had to do like an evening swim. Swimming's probably my strongest point, but I don't know, you can't really socialise, can you? You can't really chat. I don't know, I just don't find it that interesting. And I did it so much when I was younger, I just get bored of it. But I mean, it's not too bad, but I quite like it when we do harder stuff, to be honest, because it spices it up.
Alright, if you're going even more recovery, then obviously you can just pick the points of this that you want to push hard on. You might want to do the 100s and then do the 50 and the 150 at distance stroke, whatever. So just have a little think about how much of that you want to go hard. So if you can just let me know by the end of the warm-up who's doing what, so we can arrange the lanes properly, and then we'll crack on. Alright?
With some sprints, and then we did just some descending 50s to get us ready for the main set, which is happening now. And then yeah, I'll find out that I'm probably not warmed up after the first 50.
The energy system we're working in is called VO2 max, which is not max, it's the highest aerobic level you can work at before you go to an anaerobic training load. So I guess if the maximum heart rate right now could be around 200 beats per minute, we'll be working about 10 or 15 beats below that. So Jess's maximum heart rate might be about 180. And so she'll be working about 165, that sort of heart rate. So it's not total max. If in layman's terms, 9.5 out of 10. So it's pretty challenging though, pretty challenging. 62.9, 5.3, 7.3. 63.8. 8.5. If you look at the first part of a triathlon, when they're going off, and it's just a complete math, you know, everyone just goes for the first buoy, and so we need them to be able to get off fast, to be able to establish a good position at the start of the race, but without the lactic acid levels going through the roof, because then obviously they've got perhaps another 1,200 metres of the race to go, in the swim part of the race. And so, so the idea with this is to be able to go fast, almost as fast as possible, but in a controlled way so that the lactic acid doesn't spike really high, so that they can then maintain a pace afterwards. So it's a controlled speed rather than an absolute max effort speed. And so the aim of this, so we're going like from a 50 to 100 to 150, and so we establish a pace on the 50, trying to hold the same pace over 100, then trying to hold the same pace over 150, and that's really challenging. 135.2, 138.5. She's got a unique ability to be able to swim fast, but without the lactic acid levels going too high. So what often happens with an athlete is they'll sprint off, they'll get a spike of lactic acid, and then they'll just go slower and slower and slower and slower, you know, that dead feeling, that ugh. And Jess doesn't seem to get that, you know, she just seems to be able to sprint and just get to a certain level and just maintain that pace. And so when you're competing against something like that, it's devastating because they just don't have a dead spot, you know, it's just they go and just keep going, you know. And part of that also, I think it's a mindset, because she just doesn't overthink. You know, a lot of athletes like, oh, if I don't swim fast here, what'll happen, you know, and she's just not like that. She just goes, right, I'm just going to do the best I can, just go for it, and I'll deal with the consequences afterwards, you know. And that's quite a unique mindset for athletes, you know. So, hey, good starting point there, guys.
Yes, the session done. I'm not sure how many metres we did. How many metres did we do, Rob?
5,500.
5.5k. I never keep count. Bit of VO2, a few hundreds. It was alright. I got to sit on Sam's feet. Well, not officially, but 10 seconds apart. So, felt alright, yeah. So now get changed quickly, and I've got physio at the Brownlee Centre. And yeah, I'll get changed. So we're at the Brownlee Centre eventually, and yeah, just having a bit of physio, post-swim, pre-gym, and it's just, I have it twice a week just to keep on top of things. And this is Emma Deakin, probably the best physio you'll find, aren't you, Deek?
Well, she's only saying that because Ollie's not treating her and he's in there.
So we're not, if it was Ollie, it'd be...
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a general... And because I kind of race at the weekend, just making sure things are alright.
So we see Jess twice a week, but just mainly just to keep on top of everything. We do specific measurements so we can keep a track of where Jess is at in relation to the training she's doing. And it just helps us minimise risk of injury really, and know if there's anything that we need to keep on top of and treat. So yeah, that's why we see her twice a week rather than being anything specifically injury related. That's all done.
Yeah.
Well, on that side.
So, but yeah, if I have got a niggle, it's quite good because then we can pick up on it quite quickly.
There's always a niggle.
I mean, I never come in here and I say
I'm fine.
I'm fine. There's always something wrong with it. So just gotta keep it.
Let's keep me busy.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a changeover day from Jess's programme at the moment. We're kind of going from what was the back end of the rehab programme to sort of, I guess, the build into the Leeds race and the rest of the season. We've done some more of the injury prevention keep things ticking over type work already on the back of her injuries she's had. That's been done already, so the bit you kind of joined the session at now where with a bit more of the heavier loading, so we got some step ups with the bands on, and then some isometric calf work as well, just to try and look at some of the peak forces there. So
I've only just started to do a lot more weights to get back to where I was pre-injury, because I wasn't able to do any weights through the injury. But yeah, we do it three times a week in the winter, and twice a week in the summer months. But yeah, we do quite a lot of weights, and yeah, we do loads, don't we? I've had 2 knee operations on my right leg, and I've had part of my hamstring taken out of my left leg to put for an ACL reconstruction. So I have quite a bit of an imbalance from left to right, just naturally. So I think when you just isolate one leg at a time, it just pinpoints it a bit more. Whereas if you do everything double leg, you kind of don't really know if one's worse than the other. Yeah, I've got 2 hamstrings instead of 3, but I've not really noticed the difference that much. We just kind of keep an eye on this getting overload, but yeah, it's amazing what the body can do and how it adapts to different things, because you don't really need it. But I mean, if you got rid of it, you'd think, gosh, you can't get rid of part of your hamstring, but believe me, it's fine. I mean, it's only because I've come from a swimming background, and that's all I did for years until I was like 17 and I quit. But I did it that much, so like every single session I did when I was younger was like really hard. So I think I was just so conditioned in that sort of aerobic and capacity that it kind of comes easy to me. But you can look at biking and running, it's totally different. Sure. So like Georgia would be able to do the same as what I do in the pool, but for running, whereas I'd struggle. So it literally is just in swimming. So, but it definitely helps, because it means I can probably swim faster with less effort. So then I'm fresher for the bike. So I mean, it is does help me out a bit. But I think that's what kind of got me into triathlon, the fact that I always had that swimming. So then I was always up there, and it was basically hung on. So I kind of got on programme for being like a pilot athlete. So then once I got on for that, then I was able to go full time, and then kind of just progress myself. So I have been pretty lucky with it all, but everything's just fallen into place. I used to have a lot of calf injuries when I first started. I just think I wasn't strong enough first, because I'd not come from a running background. So when I did a lot of miles and stuff, not that I did a lot, but I was faster running, my calves come out. So yeah, I've always done loads of calf stuff in my programme. They're just pesky, but they slay us.
But again, I think when it comes down to it, she's a very focused athlete, and from a staff member working with someone like that, when you say this is what we believe you to do to get to kind of improve or to develop to the level you want to get to, she'll always come back with a question as to why this, why are we doing it now, what else could we do? But I think it's that sort of personality, that sort of outlook of I trust you want to work with me on this, but I want to also have a say as to what's happening and why, because I think I understand me and where I need to go to a good level as well. And I think that's the thing, that kind of that real focus and the challenging back to make sure that what's being recommended to her is the best thing for her. Those are the two big things. And ultimately she's got a great work ethic, and I think, yes, depending on how long you guys have been filming for, you'll have seen that, and I've seen that over the years that she's been doing World Triathlon races, that she's a real hard worker and really committed to what she's trying to do. So yeah, those would be the main things I'd look at.
As a conclusion, I'm not sure. I think I'm just very similar to every other athlete, or not even elite athlete, just anybody generally. I don't think I do anything different that somebody else wouldn't be able to do. I mean, the only problem is probably affording a power meter. Other than that, I mean, I would just use the same technology as everybody else. So yeah,
So
what do you think makes the difference? Like, if everyone can do it, if everyone can do weights, why? How?
Well, you've got to have an opportunity to be full time, which is a massive thing. You have to work hard, you have to love it, and I don't know, maybe a little bit of talent, I'm not sure. Just gonna de-COVID everywhere, and then I'm gonna head home for some lunch and a bit of a rest before a hill session later on. Done. No measuring going on here. It's just made up.
What's your plan for the run session, do you know?
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah. What do you mean?
Well, it's hills.
Yeah, so we're here for a run session, and this is Mitch and John, fellow session people. Anyway, we're at Skeleton Lake Services, which is a bit random. It's actually brand new, and we're going to run around Skeleton Lake and then just do a few hill reps as a session. So yeah, that's it.
Nice. Yeah, so basically we've got a 5k warm up, nice loop around this services, believe it or not. It's a lovely lake to run around. Then we're going to head over towards Temple Amusement Park. It's a nice hill that we use, it's 90 seconds ish long. So today's session is 9 times up that, brisk jog back down again. So we'll see how we get on.
Yeah, so I've been doing, because I've not done that much running so far, I've just been doing a lot of hills. Well, not a lot of, this is like my third lot of hills. So yeah, basically we just do 9 by 90 seconds where you just go as fast as you can up this slight gradient hill. So it's not really steep, but it's enough to like not have to work hard to actually get up it. And then you just recover down and just repeat that 9 times pretty much. I mean, this one's probably more strength, so I'm just trying to get strong, so it's more like for the end of a 10k when I'm starting to struggle and everything's, you know, like after you've ran for I don't know, a few 5k, you kind of start to rock and roll and your technique starts to fade and stuff. So with the hills, it just makes you everything a bit stronger so that you can kind of keep your form a bit longer. And then on a Saturday, I'd usually do faster reps to kind of stimulate the speed. So yeah, and it's just for me at the minute, because I've not done much running, it's kind of reduces the injury risk as well. So because I've not been running fast, if I just decided to start doing like loads of 2 minutes 90-second runs on the flat, there's a chance that I could pull a calf or do something like that. So with the hills, it kind of gives me the opportunity to work hard but not run fast. Basically, you just treat every rep as your last rep, pretty much. Because it's quite nice that when I'm coming back into it, I'm not looking at pace or anything, because obviously I'm not going to be where, like, when I'm really, really fixed. I don't need to be in that place for like 2 months yet. So it's quite nice to just try as hard as you can and then, yeah, come back down. And I mean, if you die, you can tell. So I think I only got to about 5 today, and then I started to struggle. But it didn't really matter. You still just got to get up it, and you're still just doing 90 seconds. So although you're not getting as far as you were the first few reps, but it didn't matter. Yeah, so as soon as I got back to the car, I'd made the protein shake before I'd set off, so I made sure I had that on the way home, because although it's only 10 minutes, it just, by the time you get to the car, get changed and stuff, it's just quite good to get it in there. And also it was really warm, wasn't it? So I was parched. So I had that, came back, had a shower, and then yeah, I just come and sit in these to recover. And also it just makes you sit down for however long you put on, 40 minutes or whatever. And then I had a bit more recovery, I guess, because I had a coffee from John. So yeah, and then I sit here, and then my next kind of, I guess it's kind of an extended recovery, is I'm just going to go spin my legs on the turbo just to flush them out, really. Nothing, no like certain set session, it's just like an hour of just spinning your legs really easy. Yeah, super fan called Amy has sent us my little card. Because I didn't go to Japan, she sent it with none. And there's some little tattoo transfers. So on here we've got, well, basically all the triathletes, but then we've got also, I think this is Surf Chickens. This is Alfie. Alfie appears quite a few times actually. It's overloaded. I think this is Beth's dog. A sheep, which I presume is for none, I think. And then yeah, just all our individual faces. I think that, oh that's Bish, oh Tom and Sian, Alan, John. So yeah, got a few of them. So are you gonna explain?
What do you want me to explain? So yeah, this is it. Built it last summer.
Yeah, in lockdown. Well, we started off as a decision to, because I was turboing upstairs in the spare room, and I've got to be honest, I'm a heavy sweater. It was just a bit grim. So we decided that a shed would be alright, and we weren't doing anything with this area in the garden. So then John started to look into it, and as usual, he'd like get a quote from something, like look into shed quotes and stuff, and see that it was too much money. So he decided that he could do it himself for cheaper. So then it went from a shed to a bit of a posher shed to then being a full-blown gym with 5-fold doors. So
You could pretty much rent on Airbnb now.
Probably could, couldn't we?
yeah,
Probably. We might have to at this rate.
but yeah, so in here I've got heaters in the back with a kettle, because then you can get the heating and the humidity up in like literally about half an hour, can't you?
It's really well insulated.
Because he,
like, I put all foam insulated.
you've insulated, and also you put that plastic stuff in, didn't you?
Yeah,
So
that's sort of like a vapour barrier for condensation, which also doubles up as there's no breathability to it. So when you heat it up inside, it stays warm.
Yeah, so I only had to put it on for like about 5 minutes. You just leave it open so it boils, it steams the room, and then I try not to, because I've got the heat thing here, so if I get it to about 70, and then as soon as I get on the bike it's up to about 80, 90, just because I sweat that much. Because if not, if I started at 90 it'd just be grim. Yeah, and then I can run off if I wanted, or it's pretty decent.
So what are you doing now?
So now I've finished the run session, and I just like to come on Zwift. My dad's just given me a ride on. Go on, Drew. Just spin my legs for an hour, just to flush them out really. I mean, my watts are pretty embarrassing, but I like the fact that I just don't have to do anything. I just get hustled on Zwift all the time. So yeah, so I think I've used Zwift, God, I think it's been a godsend actually in the, while we've been in lockdown, and while we've had bad weather. Like this year's been terrible for riding outside, and also I've isolated quite a bit because John got COVID, so it's just been quite nice to come into a nice environment and get on Zwift. And I've been doing like 3-hour rides, and I swear to God, before Zwift you won't catch me on a turbo for more than 45 minutes. Like if I got to an hour, I'd be really happy with myself. Whereas on here, you can go for hours, and then it preps you for Super League arena games, doesn't it? Yeah, after Tokyo, I think it's just going to be really good to just have a bit of fun and get to different places. And like I've said before, there'll be a lot of good athletes, obviously always do it. So I think it's just something different in it, and it spices it up a bit, and I just think at the end of the year it'd be great. And I quite like the fact that it's all in one go, and also you don't have to miss other things. Sometimes when there's races clashing and stuff, it's quite difficult, so I think it's good that there isn't anything else on, and you can get good standard of athletes that all commit to doing it, so I think it'd be really good. Yeah, so after Tokyo, when I'll be training for Super League in September, I've decided I'll probably just sharpen up the training a little bit and do some shorter efforts with bricks, but not just like swim by brick, just, you know, different ones with swimming and running. Yeah, simulate the race.
Is Jess at the Commonwealth Games looking like some kind of voodoo doll?
Who made it?
No, my sister got made, didn't she, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
My sister got made when I got back.
What's around the neck?
Silver medal.
Silver medal.
Yeah.
Good, isn't it?
When I'm doing a hard session, I kind of have to get in a little zone of nothingness, which is so random, but you have to try and think of like the pain and try and like go into a little zone. I can't really explain it, but I definitely just go elsewhere and then just keep pushing. It's weird. I do find a lot of the time that if I have music on and things like that, it's dead easy to get in the zone, but I also try and not always have music on because I know that I can't do a triathlon with headphones in, sadly.
It can be dangerous if you're Fruit Loop like these athletes are, but you know, if you get having voices in your head telling you that it's hard, and you train yourself to sort of say, you know, and like push the voices out so you don't slow down, or you know, but that can be a bit dangerous if you're to the point of, you know, it's like at what point is your body telling you can't go on because you genuinely can't go on, like you know, next thing you know you'll keel over. So it's a bit of a balancing act, but yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for like meditation and stuff.
Yeah, I'd class it as meditation. Yeah, and it's weird that sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't. So sometimes I'm struggling and I can't overcome the struggle, I just not give up but just get slower, whereas sometimes I can start struggling and then kind of get in a zone where it stops hurting, but I can't do it all the time, so it's a bit annoying, but I enjoy it. I actually find that probably easier. So like when I get in the pool and I maybe warm up and do like the first rep, I think, oh my god, I feel awful, I can't do this. But then as soon as you get into the session and you get into feeling like you're struggling and it's hurting, you just get into a little mode and you don't really think about, oh my god, I'm struggling. You just think about the session and what you've got after that, like as in, I've got another 100 to do, I've got another 150 to do. So you kind of just get in a little mode, and I think because we do it so often, like nearly every day we've got a session, some sort of session, you just train your body to get used to it, I think. I don't know, I just find the mind just tells you to keep doing it. Whereas John, his mind says...
That's the difference between an athlete and me. Mine tells me to not stop doing it and I'll stop doing it.
Oh my god, he said
Maybe that's the difference between me and an Olympian.
Yeah, you get used to just being uncomfortable. But everyone does it, it's not just like us. Everyone is the same, especially in triathlon. I think there's people that majority will be worse than me, and that's why they're good, I guess. But it can also be like a complete downfall. So if you have someone that just does that every session, you can end up injured, or do you know what I mean? There's only so much your body can take, so you kind of have to be a bit more sensible about it as well, I guess. One thing I do think about in training is I don't want to feel like this in a race. So like I'd rather die and feel horrific in training, and then in a race I don't have to go there, then that's better. So when I'm training, I'm always thinking, God, if this is what it's like in a race, I'm going to try hard now so I don't have to feel like that. Because if I do, I'm probably going to have to feel like that for 2 hours, whereas in a session I'm maybe only doing a rep for 90 seconds, so I'll feel like that for 90 seconds. So that's probably the only thing I think about. Other than that, I'm a bit like Dory. I kind of just like a bit of a Doyle on that. So what I'm making is a roasted vegetable butter bean stew, but I'm actually doing it with chickpeas, which John will say is a classic because basically I always just adapt it to you know, what I've got in the cupboard. But yeah, this is it for now. I try and have a lot of protein because I know I don't get that much because of pretty much been a veggie. So I make sure that I have, like after the run, I add protein, and then I guess on an evening it's just carbs, and I get protein through chickpeas and veg and stuff. But yeah, it's probably not as serious as you'd think. The only thing I'll probably measure is sometimes when I do porridge, and I like to get it right. But yeah, in terms of knowing exactly how much I'm having, I don't. You just get used to it. I just think if you did that, it'd be just too stressful. I love food, I love cooking, and that's probably one of the downfalls that I have, is that, and George is probably very similar. We spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking stuff, and she'll send me recipes, and we're very into our food. So I kind of, it's a part of training and life that I enjoy. So if I started doing loads of stuff where it kind of became a chore and I'd have to like look into things and measure things, I couldn't have certain things, I think it'd just cause more problems than it's worth, you know what I mean? I eat a lot of bars on the bike, a lot of OT bars to be fair. So like if I'm on a bike ride, I try and snack every hour. So I wouldn't have a bar every hour, but I'd have like maybe 2 bars in a 3.5 hour ride. And it used to be and a cafe stop, but obviously recently because of COVID we haven't been doing cafe stops. So but I think for a triathlete that's starting out, I think you have to err on the side of caution in terms of taking more than you need, because I found that when I had an injury and then I came back, when I started doing, even when I was on the turbo for like 90 minutes, I started to feel like I was really hungry and I was struggling, whereas I would never have felt like that before. So your body adapts to training, so they'll get used to it, but to start with I think you need more than you realise, because I think when you start training more, your body adapts to being like, I don't know, burning fat and stuff, so you kind of can get away with it a little bit more.